If you want to win more games in Hell Let Loose, then adopt the tips in this video because I believe they will definitely help you out. And if you want more Hell Let Loose tips, guides, gameplays and streams, then subscribe to the channel because at the moment only under 17% of you guys that watch my channel are. So first off, let's start with garrisons and OPs. So when you control a point, you need to make sure you have multiple garrisons around that point. What I like to do is I like to build a garrison directly in the strong point or in the center of the objective. Some people don't like to do that. I like to do it because, well, it does give you that central place to spawn on. If you was to build it slightly to the north, east or south and the enemy were pushing from that position, you could lose that garrison quicker. But you also need to have these backup garrisons to make sure you can still spawn and get back to the control point if you were to lose your main garrison. And a key thing for these backup garrisons, and these are garrisons that are, well, behind the objective going towards your next objective, build them behind the line. And what I mean by this is when you lose an objective, you lose like 2 rows or 2 columns of squares. So you need to build them behind the line of those 2 squares. So if you lose an objective, you will still have garrisons right close to the objective you just lost, which will help you push forward and take that objective back. If they were on the other side of the line in the territory of the objective that you just lost, they will get destroyed as soon as you lose that point. And when it comes to attacking, you want to build garrisons a little bit further back in enemy territory so they don't get locked out easier. So don't build friendly garrisons really close to the objective, because as the enemy spawn to defend their point, your garrison will get locked out straight away. Build it maybe like 300 meters in enemy territory away from the objective, and then use your OP to build that closer to the enemy position so you can spawn close on it. And if your OP was to get taken out, you can still spawn that garrison you've got back further away, push forward and build a new OP. One of the key things to winning games in Hell Let Loose is having multiple garrisons to spawn on. So if you do lose a garrison, you've got another garrison close by that you can spawn on. And it gives your team more choice to maneuver from and to attack from when you have these multiple garrisons around. So make sure you have multiple garrisons built. Another key thing in winning games in Hell Let Loose is your resources. And these are for the commander so they can keep building tanks, keep bringing in bombing runs, supply drops, airheads, all that stuff. The one thing that you can do straight away, and when I used to play in the competitive scene, this is what we would do, and basically we would get our support guys to drop down their supplies in the HQs like straight away, and then an engineer can build a manpower node, crucially a manpower node first, because when you're a support player, you've put down your supplies, and then you go to a manpower node or within the radius of the yellow circle, what that does is it cuts in half the regen time for your supplies, cuts it down from 5 minutes to 2.5 minutes. So at the start of the game, what this will mean is you can put down your supplies, engineer can build a manpower node, and before you get to the front line, because of the match warm-up time, which is 3 minutes, you will get your supplies back before you actually get to somewhere where you need to put supplies down again. So that's going to just help your team out so you can get more supplies down right close to the front line so you can get a garrison built. But crucially, what that will mean is that you'll get a little bit of a head start in getting those resources for your commander. And if you have an engineer or enough support players that will put down 3 sets of supplies at the start, that engineer could get 3 nodes built. And that is just a great start for the commander. Now, while everyone loves the glory run of rushing to the enemy position and attacking it and capping it, defending is of course a key thing to winning, and you really should have at least one squad defending your most forward position at all times. Now, I have a certain defense tactic I like to do, and I've mentioned this in a few videos before. What I like to do is I'll have myself as a squad leader and one other player, possibly an engineer, who can put down mines and build fortifications on the strong point so we can just secure that area. And as a squad leader, you can use your binoculars to keep looking around everywhere. I split the remaining 4 guys in my squad into 2 squads of 2, set them out in different directions to patrol around the 4 squares of the control point in different directions, one going clockwise, one going counterclockwise. simply because what that'll mean for at least those 4 guys is they'll have a more interest in time defending the point, where they need to keep an eye out, look out for any enemies that are close to the objective, hunt down enemy spawn points, and if you do spot an enemy position, you can then all swarm onto that point to stop the enemy building a garrison or take out a garrison if they manage to get one down. And when you do attack and you do capture a point, just don't all rush to the next point. This is another thing I see happening again and again and again. You capture a point, you all rush to the next one, and the enemy just easily take their captured point back. What you can do is when you're capping an enemy point and it's nearly capped, get one squad to start rushing to the enemy position to get pressure onto them early, which will cause the enemy to pull back people to defend their point. But you need people to stay at the point you've just captured to clean up enemies, because I bet you there will be at least one squad leader just waiting around to get down his OP again so his squad can keep attacking, or they've got something set up to get another garrison down. Hunt down these enemy squads, destroy their spawns, and crucially build up defenses and garrisons for that point you've just captured. One thing you should do when playing the game is keep an eye on the sky, and purely this is to spot enemy supply drops and enemy airheads, because if the enemy are dropping supplies in your territory or close to your territory, they're doing it to set up a garrison. That garrison is going to mean an attack from that direction, so get your people out in the direction of those supplies, take out the enemy and take out those supplies. And for the airheads, I mean, if you don't spot an airhead, it's pretty much a disaster for your team. Get to that airhead quick, take it out. If you can't get there quick enough, get a whole bunch of people, set up a big field of fire with machine guns and everything, and just wipe out the enemy team when they spawn it. That can be so satisfying. Artillery is a key piece in your team's arsenal to win a game, and you should make sure you have good use of it. But you need to make sure you have your nodes built so you get enough munitions so you can keep artillery going and going and going. One key thing is you need to deal with the enemy's artillery. Unfortunately though, what this means is the recon squad gets sucked into one of the worst gameplay loops in Hell Let Loose, which is the recon artillery loop, where the recon squad pretty much needs to camp the enemy artillery to stop their artillery users using their artillery. It's sucky. I hate doing it when I'm in a recon squad, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Hopefully this recon artillery loop is something that the devs will look at. We know that mortars are coming, so maybe mortars will completely replace artillery. We don't know yet. I'm kind of hoping that artillery goes completely and maybe it goes into like a commander ability or something else, but you gotta make sure you deal with the enemy artillery. A good enemy tank squad can absolutely dominate the entire match. I've seen it. I've watched streams of people dominating in tanks. I've seen videos of people dominating in tanks. So as an infantry person, you gotta keep spotting enemy tanks on the map. Keep updating those markers. Keep the information flowing to your commander and to your friendly tank squads so they know where the enemy tanks are so they can get a good position on them and take them out. Information and communication is key to victory in Hell Let Loose. Now I've talked a little bit about defending in this video so far, so let's just go over some attacking strategies. One mistake I see happen in countless games is people will spawn on the most forward friendly position and then run in a straight line to the enemy objective. You can't keep doing that. You're just funneling down a specific route so enemy artillery can keep slamming on top of you. What you need to do is surround the enemy position. Even if that means you have to go out your way a little bit on a long flank to build another friendly garrison in enemy territory or get a deep OP built, do it, because just getting that another attack from another direction will split the enemy forces that are defending the position and probably make it a little bit easier for you guys to actually attack and capture that objective. And lastly, Hell Let Loose, it is a first person shooter, so shoot the enemy, kill the enemy. I think you'll find that generally if you kill more enemy soldiers than they kill of your team, you'll probably win the game. as long as you kill them and keep pushing forward when you're attacking and pushing forward to take out their spawns. If you have any tips of your own, make sure to whack them down in the comments below. If you want to support the channel, click the join button just below the video to help support the channel and get more videos. A big shout out to the current members of the channel, thank you for helping. And if you like the video, make sure you give it a like, subscribe for more, and thank you for watching.